Thank you for joining us. I am here with Steve from Winar. And Steve, you're somewhat newer there. I think you came in September, and I'd like to hear about your background and your expertise in this field. What were you doing all those years before you arrived at Winar?
Well, I've been in the small wire business for about 30 years now. Started back in '95.
That's a long time ago.
It is.
That's a lot of experience, huh?
It is. I started out just working on the assembly floor, building wire harnesses.
Yeah.
Throughout the year, got promoted, became an estimator for costing assemblies like these.
Okay.
And then I became a floor manager, and then I left that company, went with another company, became part of sales.
Yep. So you've had a little bit in terms of making the stuff, working in the plant, sales, and everything. So that's pretty wide experience. I mean,
that's what probably makes me perfect for running Winar 3.0.
That's great. That's great. And well, so what brought you to this company then? Why did you decide to come Winar?
I've known Jeff for quite a few years now, and through talking off and on, I left my previous company and tried something different, got into a little software sales. Didn't work out, and then talked to Jeff, and Jeff had told me that they were looking to grow the small wire business portion of Winar sales, and so they decided to go forward with 3.0 and now 4.0, where we're in South Carolina.
Let me ask you something. So, like, who's your perfect customer then?
For me, industrial customers that have some kind of a device that typically would be anything from, for small wire in our world, 8 gauge to 22 gauge.
Okay.
That's the sweet spot. Industrial companies like HVAC that make air conditioners. We do a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of power generators, power generation, and then battery power.
Is there any type of device you can't make a harness for?
Well, there's a lot of PC board type stuff,
Okay.
and we want to kind of shy away from PC boards.
Right.
There's specialty companies that do that, and they're good at it. So it's a really niche market that we are not interested in pursuing.
Are there any standards you're setting or pushing for, like absolutes, when a quote has to be done, when the product has to be delivered?
So I think ultimately, I think a lot of companies in our business are quoting at 2 weeks or longer in
Okay.
a lot of cases, because and a lot of this is since pre-COVID, materials are a lot less available. It's harder to get. People don't quote as fast to you when we're looking for the individual components that are on these harnesses. So how fast we can get that information from our suppliers and get it back to our quote format so that
Yeah.
we can quote a finished assembly to our customer is the biggest piece of it. So we're streamlining our process, trying to make it a lot quicker, trying to make it more automated.
How are you streamlining it?
Just trying to make it more automated. We're trying to apply the labor a lot quicker, so there's less thought that has to go into it. The computer can do a lot of that for us.
Let me ask a dumb question. And ideally, the size of the when we're talking about the small wires, what you mentioned, what's the size range?
I said anywhere from like 8 to 22 gauge is the sweet spot.
Okay.
The 1.0 and 2.0, they're the company that does all the power stuff. So usually 6 gauge, all the way up to 750 kcm for the size of the wire, and that's big stuff. That's a lot of copper, a lot of wire. But that's not my specialty. My specialty is the small stuff like what we have here.
Is there anything that you guys, help figure out spec-wise?
No, we don't really design. We're a contract
Okay.
manufacturer, so
Okay.
the customer will reach out to one of our wonderful salespeople. They will then pass typically a drawing is provided.
Okay.
And with that drawing, there's usually a bill of material, there's a wire list, and all that information is translated usually via email to our sales team. Then our sales team will send it over to our estimating team. And then we work to get that quoted and then back to the salespeople so they can quote the customer.
And on average, how long does it take to get a quote? If all I need is a quote on this, when can I get it? In a day, 2 days, 3 days?
again, 5 days or less, but yeah, hopefully in 1 to 2 days with our new system.
So definitely within 5 days. What about tariffs? Is that affecting your business at all yet? Or do you see it that it's going to?
Today, I think ultimately it's going to continue to push companies to bring manufacturing back to the United States. So the more manufacturing is in the United States, the more need there's going to be for wire harnesses.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately, yes, it's going to affect our business. Today, not so much.
Is there anything that's affecting your ability to put together estimates right now, given that you've many different sources for the materials that you use?
I think the reality is the biggest thing is customer information. Getting the right information so that we can quote correctly to the customer's drawing.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a good point. When somebody needs a quote from you, what should they provide so that you can come back to them with a quote as quick as you can?
A drawing.
Okay.
Typically a PDF version of that drawing, so that allows us to look at it quickly.
Yep.
We don't have every CAD software on earth, so it's not everything's able to be viewed. The bill of material, typically a wire list, preferably the bill of material and wire list in Excel, because then that allows us to manipulate data quickly so we can then import it into our ERP system to allow us to quote faster. And then if the customer knows that there's custom components on it that or they have some kind of contract in place for a specific connector or with a specific manufacturer, that they're sharing that information up front, because if we don't know that information and we go to quote them, there's a chance that we could be higher priced because we don't have all that detail.
What makes you world class? What is world class in wiring?
In wiring, the number one thing, and this is partially in my view, is being very reactive to your customer's needs. So good quality, on-time delivery are the two most important things. Getting back to your customer quickly, being responsive to what their requests are, quoting quickly, turning around and selling them good products that they need in a quick turnaround. Many times the wire harness is the very last piece of the assembly of the unit that they're trying to make. If it's an industrial application, many times they'll have the device that they're making sitting there waiting for the wire harness. So they'll reach out to companies like Winar and say, hey, I need this wire harness, please quote it. If we take 2 weeks to quote it, the person who quoted it in 2 days is going to get the business before we are.
Okay.
So ultimately our goal is to be able to quote to our customers in 5 days or less, be able to get up and running the first articles and build the first articles, and then build production within weeks of development.
One last question: what do you see for the immediate future and the far future in terms of what you're working on, the small wires, in terms of the industries using them and your role in helping them get what they need?
So I think we're gonna, as long as we continue to be versatile, able to get things done quickly and reactive to our customers' needs, sky's the limits for our sales team. I think we're gonna need to continue to grow our facilities and expand.
So there's going to be a 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, 7.0. Are we going to be up to 10.0 real quick here with Winar?
You never know. Jeff and Dan are very aggressive. They're very willing to make things happen for our customers, and I think there could be 5, 6, 7.0 fairly quickly.
That's fantastic. And plus they have you there now to make sure that customer gets what he needs and gets the estimate. So, Steve, thanks a lot for sharing with us. And listen, if there's something we can help you with or Winar can help you with, just check out the website and get Steve on it and get your project underway. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.